And
Hello,
um,
everyone.
Good to see you all. Everyone is coming back. So we hope you enjoyed a very nice end of year break and everything went on smoothly for the new academic year. It's always a very hectic period for any Ministry of Education in the world.
so
Let's give a minute for colleagues who might be slightly late. I see a lot of
Hello.
AI note takers.
But hello, how are you?
Asif,
Hello.
hello, assalamualaikum.
Hello, Hasif.
So you'll be flying tonight or tomorrow?
On
Thursday.
Fine.
Friday. Friday.
Friday you'll be flying from Paris.
Yes.
Yes. I've got a program for you.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
this is really, it's exciting.
Yeah. So I've told Vajiyo to get a number to get contact you via WhatsApp or something so that
Yeah,
Yeah.
he can communicate you.
Yes,
that was
I
awesome.
just awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Elen
So
just took
look,
care of that.
Because
Thank you.
we don't want to just be in the airport and in the training room and go back.
No, yeah, because
We
we
have to
know
see
that Elen will have
movies.
some personal time. So yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
I
let's.
I will
Yeah.
have some
Helen,
personal time after the workshop. So
Helen, don't worry, you are included.
okay.
Like I don't want Am to just to see Modi's only Malay and go. So I want to him to just have a taste of a little
Oh,
Maldivian
that's so
waters.
great. Oh, that's so great.
So
Because
have you picked your swimming track, Am?
okay.
Don't tell your
Let's.
colleagues in there because they'll be jealous.
Thank you, but okay. Thank you so much. Let's focus on the
Yeah.
contents first.
So is everybody here?
Almost.
I think Salima is joining. Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay. Salima. Okay. Let's. We still have some participants joining. And last but not least, Dr. Ahmed Mohammed. So let's open.
I think Wadihu is having difficulty. He's in Dubai on an official trip. Maybe he's having a difficulty
Difficulty
because,
to connect. Yes.
but yeah, so maybe he might not be, but he will try his best.
Okay. Colleagues are still joining, so we will start as soon as everybody is connected. Sorry.
I see many people now.
Okay. I don't see anyone else in the waiting room, Nora, right? Okay, so perhaps we can start. So again, welcome everyone. It's a pleasure to have this refresher session with all of you. So just regarding what is the topic of today, so we will give you some feedback regarding the individual assignment. We will go over a quick refresher of what we've seen during the online phase, and we will have the objective is also for you to share and in relation also with the individual assignment. what you felt, what are your feedback regarding the online phase, both if you need any clarification on something, if you want to share something, some insight. I mean, we had some pretty interesting and very thorough individual assignments. So I'm sure that different colleagues have a lot to share. So I hope you won't be shy. And then we will some quick information about the upcoming workshop. So Laura?
Okay, so as
Thank you.
Hélène said, we really want to thank you for your very interesting submissions because the course team read all of your contributions and we found that they really were a collection of very precious reflections and personal insights all along the phases of the online phase of the course. The majority of your submissions really have shown a high degree of depth and originality. And what was very relevant for us was to see the strong links with your personal practices and your jobs. And we hope that this exercise is going to be useful also to bring all of these insights in the hands-on work that you will do during the workshop next week and also beyond the training, so in your future jobs. We just reported here some of the quotes. So one participant, one among you, and you may recognize yourself, said that one identified persistent theme across all of weeks was the tension between strategic ambition and implementation capacity, particularly at the centralized level. And another person highlighted the fact that the ESA felt like a main reality check because it pulled together data on access, learning, financing, and equity, and has shown where the system is doing well and where the gaps are quite serious between different groups and islands. And these were just to give you a little taste of how interesting were all of your contributions. So thank you for that.
So yeah, just to clarify, because perhaps it has not been understood by everyone regarding the aim of this exercise. I know it's extra work. The idea was to help you to bring together your main insight from the online phase activities, to also support you in your learning journey, to help to build a clearer, more integrated understanding of the different issues you have explored. Also reflecting on what you brought and what different colleagues helped you realize also by exchanging perspective. So the idea was really to arrive to with a clear contribution, so you can reflect on what you've learned, what is your perception, to build on during the collective work we will have in Mali next week. The idea was also to strengthen the analytical mindsets that you will bring to your role, to future planning processes. In that sense, for us, it's very important that your reflections are personal and original. We know we said this is a balance because we want collective work. One of the objectives is to be collaborative. Some of you also mentioned in their individual assignment that they were surprised by the different perspective of other colleagues regarding, because you all have different position, different perspective. This is a richness as long as it's shared. So it's obvious that some of you are more familiar with some documents, with some topics. It's okay. The important is that the work is original. So we want to highlight that it's important to be collaborative, but at the same time, when an assignment is personal, it's important to make it personal. This is otherwise it's useless for the collective work.
Mm. So when we say, just if I can, when we say original, it means your own, something new that you're bring to the table. And as for those who in the group who have already had activities with IIP, we always prefer to have shorter documents, shorter texts that is really yours, in opposite to having long, well-detailed AI generated or collective discussions that are not really your own. And so, just to clarify that, don't focus on the length, focus on the contents and make it your own, especially for individual work. All right?
Okay. So, you're on.
Yes. So, as we saw from the program that Ellen just presented, one core section of this discussion today is to go over what we went through for the online phase. And so for now, we're just going to go over what we went over for the last 4 weeks. This is the fifth time we're meeting. And so if you have any doubts, clarification needs, questions, raise your hand at the right timing or put some questions in the chat. We have time to discuss now. We will have time to discuss next week. So we should be very free and open to flag any issue. If we cannot respond today, we will respond next week for sure. But let's flag as much items as possible right now. So now we've been going through these different topics over the last weeks. So we went through general planning and over an overview of the whole planning process. We went through the ESA, education sector analysis. Then we went also to touch upon the MEL, monitoring, evaluation, and learning purpose practices and tools. And now today we're meeting to do kind of a stock taking, refresher, bringing back everything we went before the end of the 2025 year, and in preparation of next week. So next week we will focus really on the face-to-face interactions and on the sector planning in action, as we say. And then it will be followed by two more activities online to follow up on the face-to-face interactions. And this will really help us wrap up what we did so far since the month of November last year, and really kind of bridging everything together, connecting everything together, transposing or translating this into any tools or tips or resources that you might be able to use concretely in your daily work from then on. And so that's kind of the program that's where we are right now. And I think everybody's super committed to making next week's meeting a success. So let's use this time now to go over key elements that we want you to reflect on, and again, try to remember what we did individually and collectively throughout the different months in the past. Next week we will see it and we will talk about this later, but if you have any notes that you took, have them in mind, and really bring the documents or the files that you've prepared and you used so far in the work. So first step that we did, we went over the whole kind of library of resources that we have in the ministry, in the different offices, to see what we can build our planning on. And so there's the legal institutional frameworks. The Education Act is one key resource in the Maldives and everywhere, to be honest. This is kind of the blueprint in which we operate. We went and collected diagnostic reports that have been made available. So you have the ESA from 2019. There's a draft being prepared right now for the new one. We have also these elements of strategic planning and costing. So we have the ESP from the period 2019-23 that has been transformed in the SAP for 24-28. So we have this document also that we examined over the last weeks. For strategy and transformation, transforming education and partnerships, one key document also is the Partnership Compact. And so this is also part of this foundational library that we work on now from now to short and medium term future. Sorry, and then regarding the specific cross-cutting issue of the digital policies, we have the ICT and Education Master Plan. Should we have been missing something, we could add it. It's not exhaustive, right? If we find out that there is, what is here? If we remember a document, if there's a study coming out of the ministry or maybe a research institute, we could bring it in also. And so you see at the bottom of the screen, there's a list of other resources that we can tap on. And so it goes from the curriculum framework, the government manifesto, the national development plans are included in these bibliography or this library. Typically, if you have these school safety and discipline policies, the standards and norms, these are all documents that we review when we kind of start over the planning cycle. Okay, so let me just go over this one. So we explored together the planning cycle. It was something that we look step by step. So you have these steps in mind. So from the ESA, the education sector analysis, we go over and we create a national or strategic plan. The strategic plan is prepared in with different components that we can implement, and then we monitor, we evaluate, and then this kind of steps of the planning cycle are being reproduced indefinitely. Let me just hold on a second. So you remember that when we looked at that diagram, we saw it from the top, but we also look at it from the sidelines, thinking that it's not only going over and over the same steps over and over again. We're building on everything that we do. So we're building one planning cycle over the other. And so that's where we see that the system is transforming itself just as the processes are transforming themselves. And so from one year to from one planning cycle to the next one, we might have new strategies. We might have this new digital policy. At some point, we had the COVID strategy, and so we have to kind of take this into account in order to make this planning cycle grow as we go through it, actually. That planning cycle feeds also into this steps that we use typically to prepare a plan. And so these steps, of course, build on the situation analysis or the education sector analysis that we prepared. And as we're building the plan, we have these kind of steps that are kind of building blocks that we use, in a sequence typically. But you see that all these arrows are going in every direction and allows you to actually refine and fine tune as you go your strategic plan. So the foundation will be the ESA, the situation analysis, the context or the kind of current situation. But from there, we're going to identify these policy strategies or priorities that we want to work on. We will try to define program designs and an action plan. But then we can kind of compare this with the resources available. And so when we do the costing and financing, we might realize indeed that there's maybe some programs that are too ambitious or not enough ambitious. And so we can go back and iteratively refine and fine tune these different phases. As we go, we can prepare the action plan and the implementation arrangements, and then finalize it with our monitoring and evaluation framework. The last step is MEL, but it's true that when we design the MEL framework, we might realize that some data collection will be too costly, that we need to rethink about some of the objectives or frame them a bit differently. And so again, we have these loops that are possible to go through to refine and fine tune. One key point in our work, and we saw it just a last comment on this one, is to say that this consultation bar, this collective work is super important, because the more we get involved into creating the programs, the more collective work or collective discussions and consultations are made, the more the programs will really reflect the realities and the expectations of the people, the communities themselves, the families, the students themselves, but also of the whole body of colleagues that will be in charge of implementing. And so the more buy-in, let's say, we have at this stage, probably the better results we will get with implementation, and then more efficiently the resources will be spent. And so we try to really keep in mind these consultations and this collective work. Thank you. When we worked in the identification of the different stakeholders, we had very rich discussions, and this is some note, like a synthesis of all the different stakeholders that you've been identifying in the work, and it goes from central education authorities, of course. Schools and school level actors are key stakeholders, of course, in the implementation of the education delivery, let's say the different level of governance, the different councils, the different local authorities, and then also obviously cross-sector ministries and agencies. So all the other ministries, agencies, bodies of the government that feed into education, although they're not responsible for education, they do influence the sector itself. They have different interests, different stakes. And so we keep them close, as we say, to make sure that we are all aligned and share a vision. Partnerships are super important in the Maldives, like elsewhere. We need to also maintain relationships, create relationships with these partners, and make sure that everybody is looking in the same direction and that the Maldives interests are at the center of their programs. And keeping these relationship really close is key for implementing the strategic vision. And then the last group of actors, let's say that we've identified in the discussion is civil society and the private actors. And so when we talk about public-private partnerships, this falls into this category. All the different NGOs, the different religious or community groups are in that area, and also all the kind of higher education institutions, the academia, the community-based research, and so forth. So that's another segment. So altogether, it's a lot of people, but it's good that we keep a relationship good with all of those. When we looked at the different priority issues in the Maldives, it was really reflected really well in the exchanges, and we also have different thematic groups that you worked on. These angle of analysis are those that we typically also use for the education sector analysis or the situation analysis. We have access and coverage, quality, equity, internal efficiencies, internal and external efficiency, and cost and financing. So these are really proper to the education sector. And one key angle of analysis is the context. So context is everything that surrounds education, that is not education, but that influences education. And so we have all the geographic issues, the different element that might influence like the health or social structures or economic context and so forth. And so the context is one key angle of analysis that is also feeding into the pie or the cake or the cheese of the stakeholder the situation analysis, the ESA. And then when we went through after going through all of these components, we also looked at the foundations, let's say, principles of monitoring, evaluation, and learning. These elements, of course, are everywhere in our strategies, in our partnerships. We really need to make them very visible in our plans and strategies. And so MEL by themselves are key components, but they also can be very theoretical. And so that's why we have very practical tools that we can use to make sure that that not only the strategy, but also the monitoring of the strategies and the implementation are very aligned. And so the results chains and results frameworks are tools that we discussed. And these are also tools that we will dig into a bit further. So when I'm just looking at the chat and I don't see any questions that were added, but we can have a little discussion afterwards to solve any doubts. But what we want to do next week, what we aim at doing next week, is to really go a bit more in depth into the different concepts that we examined during the online phase and apply all of them in a very concrete, very hands-on, very pragmatic way to the case of the Maldives, looking even at a level, seeing how we can use concrete data, the tools, and the specific context that you face every day to really see all this connecting together. We will work collectively, of course, because as you know, and as we mentioned a bit earlier, everybody has a very unique experience to bring to the table. So we will work collaboratively like this, and then we will connect the different, analysis policy choices with the implementation itself. And so this will be very rich moments of the workshop next week. And then the last point that we hope to achieve is to translate this learning into action. And so how can we concretely work on the different components of the education sector planning to really transform education delivery in the Maldives. And so the idea is really to bridge all the kind of theory that we worked on with the actual practice, really looking towards the future, taking stock of what we've been doing in the past. So is that that sounds like a good plan? Perhaps someone would like to share their reflections or questions, or maybe some areas that you would like to go more in depth, maybe next week, or share some reflections on your experience so far. So everybody's quiet.
Yeah, so because I think honestly, and we've been through your individual assignment, there's a lot of individual reflection, and I think it would be good. You've put a lot of efforts in this exercise, and I think it would be good to share it in with colleagues. Um, so we would like to have you share either something you have realized, like a kind of um, a perspective, something that challenged or confirmed your view during those exercise, or perhaps a lot of your assignment showed that you learned a lot from the different perspective of different colleagues, because they don't work in the same unit and they don't use the same document the same way. So it would be good if you could share it, or maybe if something is not clear for you. Oh, I see that
Yeah.
Fasna, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, when I was doing the reflection exercise, I realized that actually the most interesting part was that uh, putting all the interesting parties in the high interest law that influence metrics. So I think I would like to to know some more about it, because when sometimes when we feel like if we are conducting some implementing some programs, so who is benefiting, so we think like, okay, that will be the most interesting part of it. But I think when I read the document, I felt like, it's not the one who directly involved, but maybe somehow get the advantage of what is being implemented. So I think I would like to know some more about that, how we put these categories, parties in this high interest, low influence, high influence, and low interest in the metrics. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's yeah. It came in different
Yeah.
individual assignments,
Mm.
because and it's normal, because actually this is a tool where the same stakeholders can be placed in the different quadrants depending on why you are using this tool, and at which stage you are uh, from the beginning. So the more you precise for a specific policy or specific program, if you use this tool at the beginning of the design of this program, you might use it to identify stakeholders that you need to consult or to associate. Because when we talk about influence and interest is really how this stakeholder will be affected by the policy, program, or plan. The influence is their ability to influence positively or negatively the success of the program, policy, or plan. So the idea is if you use this tool at the beginning, it helps you to identify who to associate and who to consult. If it's during the implementation or during the diagnosis, you might want to consult several stakeholders to be sure that your program is designed that their voice is heard. In many of your assignments, you raise this concern that you feel that the voices of several stakeholders who have high interest in the program and policies are not heard enough. But you might not want to consult them for policy design from a very high level. You might want to have specific consultation with them. And it's the same, perhaps during the implementation, to be sure that the tools are useful, they are practical, they are adapted to context.
Yeah.
So,
For example, like I felt that we don't much involve like industries, like we are saying we are like I think I have mentioned it even in the assignment, like our country is like the GDP, the highest GDP contributing factor is the tourism sector. I think almost 60% is contributing. And then but still I think when in the sector planning and all, so whether we are, because employability is one skill actually that we look in when we uh, with regard to education, right? So I think that industry, that if we have more connection with this particular industry while we are like introducing a lot of like later higher secondary education also, we brought some changes so that more students would get universalizing, as our minister mentioned, that universalizing higher secondary, because we noticed that a very less percentage of students go for higher secondary education. So in these uh, implementation stage or planning stages, so where would we put in this industry? Is it a high influencing uh, category, or is a high interest category to put it? So those type of questions were coming to,
okay,
because finally they will be going to the job market. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Super interesting reflections, and as Hélène said, we can at different point in time we will be able to map the different stakeholder at different places in the chart. But just before I give the floor to us, if I just want to say that the point of this tool is not necessarily to say, oh, that stakeholder is in that position and the other one is just above or on the left or on the right. The exact positioning doesn't really matter in a sense. The idea is, of course, to see one stakeholder in relationship to the other. But for us, from a ministry standpoint or from a even strategic planning standpoint, the idea is to try to identify who can be our allies in supporting a policy. Who will we have to convince, and who will probably put some they say like sticks in the bicycle wheels, so that the policy doesn't work. And so this is for us to try to cultivate relationships, to maybe prepare some communication materials to try to convince, or this is the objective in the end of that tool, right? It's not so much about who is mapped in which corner of the chart, right? And so I think that the reflections that you're proposing, Fazna, is perfectly on point, right? That's kind of the kind of intuition of the use of that tool. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Shall we give
Asif,
the floor to Asif? Yeah.
yeah, let's give the floor to Asif.
Thank you. Actually, when we work in the group and been working in the planning for quite a few years, and the people, in my group, there were some who were not in the directly in planning, or some, came fresh. So their ideas actually gave me different angle to think. Because I've been there and sitting in this seat for about 10 years now. So the ideas that comes were very different and challenging to think about. So actually, I'm really interested in hearing and knowing, but other groups actually have been thinking. One example is the influence metrics, is where and who they bring in as influencers. Maybe some people we have not agreed, but have come in. So I'm looking forward for the, face to face to hear their ideas because uh, and unfortunately or fortunately the in the group I was in was the Kamad was there, Mazee was there, I was there. So we've been working in the planning and doing it so it's same ideas usually there. So getting a new group in the will be different. Hearing the others in this side would be very interesting for me actually because maybe because I see all the bigger plans and from that I derive it. But now with the people who look, who has been in the working and who needs, okay, this needs to be changed or when this is there, I'll get a different perspective or different, angle of thinking. So that interests me actually. And when we have the chats in and around the office, I hear different ideas. So
Mm.
actually, the reflection sometimes I say, yeah, okay, because I was there in the ESP, I was there in ESA, everything. So I will not see the cap, but I have done. But when others comment, yes, yes, it's there. Yes, that we should have been done like this. So I get it. So
Mm.
this is an opportunity for me, especially, to see what have been lacking, what needs to be done more, and what the new angles to think about. So that's one thing may got from this. So more, collaborations, more talkings needs to be made. That's what why I had. Thank you.
Thank you. It's very important, and I want to say we are all facing this issue by working in silos, in routine, because there's always a big workload, a lot to do, and we can tend to stick in our same corridor. So it's very good to exchange with different colleagues to have different perspective, and perhaps if some other colleagues from other groups would like to share their inputs also. We had some interesting perspective or surprise also from HR or finance, who had a specific view about things. Because and they have a different role in the system. So they might have seen some specific elements, but I'm not sure. I don't want to push anyone, but please, just to let you know that all your inputs and your insight are of value. So don't be shy to share them, because it's the exchange of perspective, which is very enriching everyone, even the most experienced one. Uh, is no more insights?
Everyone will get a chance to speak next week.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
it
count
might
on
be
everyone.
easier. It might be easier face to face.
Yes,
Ah,
Asif.
Again, because in the beginning and going on, I thought, what am I learning anything new? Am I learning anything new? The question comes in. But when at the last, the personal reflections and things came in and started thinking, then I said, yes, I am learning because just like Ellen said, uh, I've been most insiders. So the group and different perspective and ideas is actually important in sector planning. And even though we have a guidance or anything, but stakeholder engagement is really important. It has to be listened and those. So actually, I've been asking this question: what did I learn new? What did I learn new? I
Mm,
do this. I have been working like this. I've been, but then I realized, okay, different perspectives, different angles, and this the way it's done. It's actually I've learned.
mm,
I've got new experiences. And the first 2 weeks, did, is there anything new here? But you have spoken it out louder. Did I learn anything new here? But Now, after the individual assignment, I realized, yes, I did. Yeah, I have got a lot to say actually. So I had to think,
Perfect.
change my way and the thinking and all those things, the ideas, how it's taken, and other things also. Yeah. So I just wanted to share it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So perhaps before we move to the next section, just to recap that we're extremely comment dire, pleased or actually very enthusiastic about all the contributions that the group made so far. We could have Laura made the comments on the inputs, and for us it's very rich to see all the different perspectives, like the individual work and the collective work also, to really see the richness of the points of views on the system. We went through these 4 weeks online with lots of readings, lots of inputs, lots of notes taking. There's the recordings on the platform, so if you have missed anything, you can go back and refresh before we meet on Sunday. If you have taken some notes or if you have other resources you want to share, physical resources, you can bring them on. If it's digital, you can share them on the platform. There's a space that is prepared for sharing materials. And if you have, if you have some time just to refresh what we've been working on, we invite you to do so that when we meet next week, we are all on the same page. But you will be able also to look back at the slides that we just presented today as a summary to go over the main key points. Yeah. Right. Perhaps we can shift then to the next part of
Section.
the session today.
You should be able to see the screen now.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So regarding the upcoming workshop, we wanted to share some information. So as you know, we will start next Sunday. So the program will be a bit heavy. So we hope that you are enthusiastic to have longer working days. We will start at 8 and close at 4 with 1 hour break between noon and 1. So on day 1, we will work from the ESA and to complete the diagnosis. On Monday, to deepen the diagnosis and define priorities. On Tuesday, we will go from prioritized issue to the identification of coherent strategies and intervention. Wednesday, we will link strategies to results and trying to articulate a theory of change for the education system. And on the last day, to lay the foundation for the MEL sector. So as you may all know, you all know the place. We don't, but we are eager to discover. We will meet in Salitas function even all. So we look forward with to discover where it is in Mali and how to get there. So so we hope to find it easily. So some additional information. So basically, the activities of the workshop will be collaborative. The idea is that the daily output of the workshop will contribute to your final group project. As we said at the beginning of the course, we are reshuffling the composition of groups between the online phase and the final phase. So you will have, we will present in a couple of minutes the new group composition. We suggest really bring your laptop if you can, because it will facilitate things. You can also consider to bring a copy of your individual written assignments. I mean, this is really, you have noted a lot of elements down that will be very useful for your new group work, because as we reshuffle, You have been working on a specific angle of analysis. The idea is also that everybody share different angles. So it will be very useful if you bring what you have done to your new colleagues and group members. So again, this is a group configuration we suggest for the final project. There might be some slight adjustment if need be. But the idea is really the idea was really to keep at the same time some memory of what has been done. So we keep the same group coordinators. So they keep the memory of the angle of analysis, what has been done during the previous work, but they can welcome the input of other groups to the final project. Any questions, any ideas? So the idea, yeah?
No, just you obviously we will have this on the platform also to refer to it before we meet next Sunday. Huh?
So in order to prepare for the group work, the idea will be for you to try to find and share materials that will be related to your assigned angle of analysis. So now the idea is that the group will work on a different angle of analysis to enrich your perspective. So in your new group, you've been assigned, you're assigned an angle of analysis. So before the face-to-face, so the group will keep the same angle of analysis as in the online phase, but actually the member of the group are changing. So the idea will be for you to really try to find as much as possible elements that and documents, data, concrete example that will be relevant to your assigned angle of analysis. We can upload the material to a shared folder on the platform. We have prepared also a Google Drive for the workshop. So it will be easy to have also collaborative documents that each group can contribute to through the workshop. This is why also, if you can bring your own laptop, it will be easier to collaborate. So yes, the next steps will be really to gather material. If you have any ideas of elements, because I know the angle of analysis is really
My
your
favorite topic.
key. Yeah.
No, no, I mean, you know the materials that you use in your work. So if you, this is the assignment of the angles, the different angles. So for the groups, you've identified yourself on the groups. The topics of the groups also will, your topic of your angle of analysis will be different, because you're shifting groups. And you know what the ministry is using, you know what your office is using, and you also know what you would be using if you could add something different. And so we invite you to think about this and bring everything that you might find useful to the table. But I don't have specific recommendations, and I think we're lucky enough to be connected. And so, if you find or think about something during the workshop, then we can figure how to get to it as we go. Of course, we will bring our own copies of the different key documents so that we have printed ones. But yeah, feel free to add any resource that you might find useful.
Okay.
So voilà, I guess the next time we meet is Sunday at the Solite Hall in Malais at 8 a.m. As if he's laughing. Waji, yes.
No, you just had didn't
Yes,
make it.
are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, everyone. I wasn't able to talk much, but we are very much excited to meet you. So uh, we are waiting to see you on Sunday.
Thank
Well,
you.
on
We're looking
Saturday
forward to
first,
it.
and then in the training program
Thanks.
on Sunday.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks a lot. We are very much excited to come to the Maldives, to be honest.
Yeah, but Sunday working, you will have to adjust.
And
Yeah.
the difficulty will be to leave,
Ah,
I guess.
perhaps. But no, it's good. After I haven't made the count, but with so many hours spent online together, I think meeting in the flesh will be interesting and useful
Yeah.
to finally shake hands and to see each other. So looking forward to this. So if there is anything, absolutely, to be honest, anything that you think of, that you wonder, that you wish you would have asked today, just drop us a note on the platform or emails or whatever medium you want to use. Even I think some of you have the WhatsApp, so feel very free to connect. We are preparing the last bits of materials. We're gathering some elements, and we will be joining you on well, Saturday first, and then Sunday for the official program. So yeah, let's perhaps. Oh, Asif,
Yes,
yes.
as if.
Yeah, I thought you showed the topics assigned to the groups for a glimpse, but
Yep.
if you didn't show it to everybody, could have a good look.
Yes, sure,
Yep.
we can.
Now?
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
can you
Yeah, sorry.
share the slide again?
Sorry, I didn't. Okay. So this one?
Yeah.
Yes, because people have moved, so they should know in new group what they are supposed to, I mean, discuss, so they are assigned to the
Perfect.
angle of analysis. So I thought they could think about it in the weekend and come on Sunday.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. So, and again, if you feel at any time, even if individually, because we know sometimes it's difficult to raise, um, to make a question in big groups when you are not sure regarding one concept on one element, please feel free to contact individually. You might want us to insist or to come back on some concept, on some calculation, whatever.
Yeah. Feel free to come back. Yeah. Okay. Everybody's sorted on their groups. Please react with a thumbs up if you could find yourself and your topic to see. Yes. Shuhuda, thanks. Aisha, thank you. Mazina, Mariam, Fatimat. Okay, Shuhuda, perfect. So
Ooh,
many of you. Okay, Ali, Nashida, Salima, perfect. Suda, Sultan. Okay, good. So many of you, Mufid, perfect. Yusra, okay. Okay, I think
okay.
most, yeah, everyone. Excellent. So perfect. So it means that we have all in mind what we need to focus on for next week. Um, Perhaps we can close the session wishing you the best preparation possible and closing the files for being ready on Sunday.
Okay. Thanks a lot. See you all.
Perfect.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank
Yes,
you. See you.
Have a
See
safe
you.
journey. We are looking forward to meet you soon.
absolutely. Looking
You.
forward. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Have a
Take
nice
care.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
weekend.
soon.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so we will close the session.
Yes.
Bye.
Perfect.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye bye.